And action!
We're live.
We're live. We're live. We're live.
What's up, bitches?
Hey-o.
Surprise, it's only two of us. Again. Which two? You'll never know.
Right? It's gonna be a complete fucking surprise.
We're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I was supposed to do a bunch of things. It has been such a long day, and I'm still in brain fog, so I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm a little bit slower than I should be still. So, I still have to get some things set up here, but that's okay.
It's true. It's gonna be fine.
I ain't scared.
Scared.
Okay. First of all, I need a GarageBand file. I don't know if you knew that.
I use Audacity, but yeah.
I'm aware.
I don't know how. Ooh, yeah.
This is a podcast. Yeah, I'm slowly coming out of this brain fog, but it's pretty slow. It is pretty fucking slow. Okay, so this is 108. This is episode 108.
Yes.
And today is like the 20th, maybe?
Yes, it is. 320.
Right. Don't blaze it.
Not blazing it.
Not blazing it. I don't know what that's about. Okay. Let's fucking open some shit. Okay, that's not what I want. That is what I want. Right. Fantastic. Look. We're live and everything.
And everything.
And there's people in the chat. It's cray.
Wow. Dang, people be chatting.
Guys, I feel like I'm drunk. And I'm not drunk. I haven't been drunk in like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I've been very sick.
Yeah, brain fog is the worst.
Yeah, it's just... I'm like, I've never done this before. How do I type? I don't know.
Yeah, it takes so long to do everything that, like, and you're like, I know how to do this. Why can't I do this thing?
Right. I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to post. What am I supposed to post? Well, and as I was telling Rissy before I got here, fucking YouTube threw everything off just, like, to get things started because they changed their, like, creator studio. And I could not for the life of me figure out how to start the actual chat before, in order to take it live. And so I'm just, like, poking and scrolling, and I'm like, how? I'm not this dumb. How can I not find it? And eventually I had to find a way to revert to the old version in order to be able to start the damn thing. So it's going really well. Super well.
So last night I dreamed I was back at the Ren Fest, only with like 2 groups ago, though.
That is so crazy because I had a weirdly similar dream. It morphed and became different, but that's weird because I don't dream about that very often. But actually, let's talk about it when we start the podcast because I want to hear about that.
It involved singing.
Finn, singing, interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mine just involved running into an old friend from the Renaissance Festival. Very weird. The Kilted Muse is actually who showed up in my dreams. I don't know if you remember him, Rissy.
I don't think I do.
I think his actual name is Matthew. I think. Girl, usernames, they're the worst.
Yeah.
And performer names. And yeah, we talked recently on Instagram for no good reason. And then it just popped up in a dream and he was playing and I was like, oh, hey, what is up? And then it morphed from there and it got weird. But
You know, like they do.
Like they do. Okay, I think things posted, but I don't really know, and it's whatever.
Is there a tweet?
I mean, if things posted, then yes.
Okay, let's see.
I don't know how Twitter works.
I don't think anything posted on Twitter.
No, it did. You're wrong.
Maybe I just need to refresh again. No, I'm really not seeing anything.
I'm retweeting it right now.
But where is it, Blythe?
It's on the Damsel account. Are you just fucking with me?
Yes. Yes, I am.
God damn it. I literally just retweeted it and just put hi, and I didn't realize that I did that until I saw a notification that was like, Blythe Renee retweeted your tweet. And then it just said hi, and I was like, oh no, that's not what okay, well, it's done now. This is gonna go so well tonight. I'm loving it. Okay. Okay,
I'm
so
adding
now
my own commentary.
I need to set up. No, go away. Okay. Okay, I have the chat. I have the video. And I think that I'm ready to go. Are you ready?
Yes.
To go? Then let's go.
Oh
Okay.
no, I fucked it up.
No, what did you do?
I replied to you, and when I thought I was retweeting.
How did my brain fog get passed through the tunnels and series of tubeses to you?
The problem is that I'm unable to use my mouse because I still haven't found the USB splitter to send to Amanda, and so she can buy it, and I need to do that. And so when I have to do things with my hands and think at the same time, I get real dumb.
Amusingly, I opened the USB hub that Amanda got for me today. It plugs in with the USB-C type, which I do not have on my computer. No! So I was like, oh, I should have checked this sooner than 5 minutes before the podcast starts. Okay. Yes, please. Are you ready? No, it's okay. I'll just drink that. Thank you. Sorry. I'm trying to get water because I am mucusy. It's sexy, you guys. Just got that rasp every once in a while.
You should sing Betty Davis Eyes for all of us.
I don't know that song, but it sucks.
That was number 1 the year of my birth. Let's see what else. Anything by Tina Turner would work. What's love got to do with it?
What does love got to do with it? Let's start our podcast recordings and then start the podcast.
Yes, it's true. All right, I'm ready to record.
Okay, here we go. We're pressing record in 3, 2, 1. And we're clapping in 3, 2, 1. Beautimous. I love it. Let's do it.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. See, you can do that really well now.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And then we put her on a tire and blew her through the roof.
I love that joke. It never stops being funny to me.
It never makes me not laugh.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because anybody who knows cats also loves it. Anytime I say that, they're like, "Oh my god, that's so true."
Yeah, and trying to explain the plot of Cats to anyone who hasn't actually seen Cats.
Forget about it.
I still can't believe there's going to be a movie. Like, this is going to be amazeballs. I'm so excited.
And the cast.
Well, yeah.
What? How? Why? Doesn't matter. Okay. I need show notes. Oh my god, this is how fucked up I am, you guys. This is how fucked up you am.
You robo-dosing over there?
Dude, I fucking wish. Okay, show notes. Perfect. I found it. I can start it. Tonight, I will be the Amanda.
And I'll be the Rissy.
Okay. All right. Cool. I have everything set up. Beautimous. I love it. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let us do the thing.
Indeed.
Hello and welcome to episode 108 of the Dork Pridecast. My name is Blythe.
And I'm Rissy. We make up 2/3 of a comedy group called the Damsels of Dorkington, and this is our podcast, which is also funny, depending on how much you like poop jokes and dick jokes, or if you're drunk.
I am not drunk. My phone is not on, but someone's is, and they should turn it off.
Yeah.
And stop blaming it on me.
Oh, like with farts?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Sean farts and he's like, Blythe!
That's not true. We both own them. We own them hard. I'll even own ones that aren't mine. I'll be like, that was a good one. It was mine. That was my butt.
I claim this fart in the name of Spain.
And he's like, no, it literally was my butt. Nope. Anyway, no Amanda tonight. She is out this week. We will have her back hopefully next week. We'll see what happens.
Yep. Work stuff is intense.
Yeah, fucking, she's been working really hard. So
and having to literally finish her thesis in a couple of months. So
yeah, it happens. I may try and get us some guests on the show so that she can take the next couple months and kind of focus and not have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, thesis writing is one of them things.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I've never done it, but I imagine it's a lot.
Yes. Even when you're like her and you have published papers, like so basically if you're writing a thesis, like the main part that you're writing is going to be the introduction when you have papers, because otherwise you would just be, summarizing your data and all the ways in which you got your data if you hadn't yet published a paper. But as part of publishing a paper, you put in all that information in the paper, so you can literally just put that in the big book that houses your thesis and be like, boom, it's my paper, bitch.
That was so many papers. Papers,
yep.
Please. So that's what's happening. Guys, I don't know if you know, but I was basically dead. So I'm glad to be back and alive.
Wait, when is Easter?
4/21.
Okay. Holiday of Resurrection and all.
Almost the time for blazing it.
I know. Wouldn't that be amazing if Easter was on 4/20? Oh, God.
Well, it's kind of cool because you can have your 4/20 blaze it holiday, and then this year, the next day is Easter, so you have all that fucking, like, Jesus potatoes food.
Oh, yeah. That's perfect.
So that's maybe not the worst thing in the world.
True.
But I have made it back to the land of the mostly living.
Yay!
So 2 weeks ago, I was just tired. I was not sick when we podcasted. And I said, guys, I can't do this. And I literally slept through the podcast. Sean got sick while we were in New Orleans, actually. And he...
like norovirus sick or respiratory virus sick?
Okay, so as many people know right now, across the country, there is a horrible viral cold happening. And it lasts a long time, and it's bad. And that his nephew showed up to the trip with a really bad cold.
Oh, no.
His brother's girlfriend also showed up a little bit sick, but his nephew was coughing everywhere, so we're pretty sure that's where it came from. So Sean started coughing before we left, and then he just was we were in fucking New Orleans and Mardi Gras, so he was trying to not let it bring him down, and unfortunately, he needed a lot more rest than he was getting. So by the time we drove home, he pretty much couldn't. So he wound up being unable to drive, and I had to make a large portion of the 10-hour drive by myself.
Oh, no.
His dad did drive, but he's like 82, so that came with a certain amount of stressors. So by the time we got home from that very long, very stressful drive, I just was like, I need to sleep. I can't fucking podcast. Well, unfortunately, eventually, I also came down with that horrible cold. So Saturday after that, I woke up and my throat was on fire. And I was like, no, it got me.
That's always the worst, because when you feel your throat, you're like, no, it's okay. It's going to be fine. I slept with my mouth open and my throat got all dried out. I'll just drink a lot of hot liquids and everything's going to be okay. It'll go away. And then your nose starts and then you're like, ah!
Yeah, pretty much. So that was fun. I was sick all weekend. I couldn't go to work on Monday. I thought I was getting better on Tuesday. Wednesday, I came down with a fever.
That sounds kind of like, Craig David's song 7 Days that's almost 20 years old now. I got this cold on Monday, couldn't go to work on Tuesday.
Oh my God, I have not even thought about that song in years.
I love that song. I also love the way he says his own name in all of his songs. Craig David, 7 Days.
Oh, so weird.
I love it.
So
he performed for the King of England, Queen of England.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I love Craig David, unironically. I don't know what he's up to these days, but
I don't
these
either.
7 days.
But we should find out.
Mm-hmm. We should get him on the podcast.
Oh my God, no thank you.
We could be like, who's on the podcast? He'd be like, Craig David.
Okay, it might be worth it just for that alone. So anyway, I went to the doctor because I thought a fever with a cold.
That's a bit much, yeah.
Bad. And that's when I got the doctor to basically say to me, wow, when you get sick, you get really sick, huh? And then prescribed me the most intense antibiotics that she possibly could. So she looked in one ear and was like, okay, and then looked in the other and she was like, oh yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of an infection. That's probably why you had a fever. Then looked up my nose and went, oh, and then looked in my throat and went, okay, yeah, let's get you some real serious antibiotics.
Oh, so it wasn't actually a cold at all. It's a bacterial infection.
Well, it was.
So it's both a cold and a bacterial infection.
It started out as a viral cold.
Oh, no.
Yes. And it opened me up to a bacterial infection everywhere. So that was a joy. I was literally, I was out of work for 3 days for my New Orleans trip and then went back Thursday and Friday. And then I was out all last week again. I felt so bad for my coworkers.
Oh, wow. That is rough.
I took one meeting while I was at home on Tuesday when I thought things were getting a little bit better. Amusingly, my coworkers noticed all of the horrible things on the shelves behind me, which had not occurred to me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Luckily, I work for a video game company, so they thought it was funny. And I showed them how my dick whistle works. I found it amusing that just didn't even occur to me. They were like, does that say fuck everything over there? I was like, it sure does.
It does.
I painted it myself. Now I've got one that says eat shit. That's true. Anyway.
That happened to me once.
That happened one time. So that was really fun. Also, I want to say I'm really pissed off because I did the most amazing thing while I was in New Orleans. And no, it's not Flash People.
Oh.
I did yoga twice.
Oh.
You know how you always go on vacation and you're always like, well, I'm just going to bring my workout outfit and I'm just going to do a little bit. And it doesn't have to be a whole workout, but I'll do a little bit some morning, at least one morning. And then you never fucking do.
And you never do. No.
Never do. Well, I did twice.
Holy shit. Did they have it in your hotel?
Well, we were in a big Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we actually rented out like a house, essentially.
That's the fucking way to do it.
Well, it is, except the other people staying in it were my husband's family. So, you know, you do the math.
Yeah.
Listen, it could have been worse, but there was some drama.
Ooh.
I'm not willing to talk about it on this public podcast, but I might talk about it next week when we get drunk and do the Drunk Pridecast.
Yay!
Well, I was not involved, but I heard about it later, and I was just like, oh,
that's the best kind of drama.
That is the best kind of drama. Yeah, it was glorious. I slept through the whole thing. It was great. So then I just got to hear about people being crazy later.
Yeah, actually being involved in drama often sucks, but
Will you please tell me about it? Because I love drama that's not mine. Because usually when you're going through it, you want to talk about it, but you don't want to, like, create more drama. So you don't. But then here's me over here, like, I don't have a whole lot of drama in my life anymore, which I'm pretty proud of. But so anytime anyone is like, oh my God, I'm dealing with drama, I'm just like, go on.
Yes.
So I think it's personally fun and hilarious because I don't have to deal with it. So yeah. Rissy, do you want to take a stab at whether or not I flashed for some beads while I was in New Orleans?
I assume you flashed 100 times and got your whole body weight in beads.
How did you know the exact number?
Well, we have been friends for quite a while.
Yeah, no, not my thing, y'all.
Is there still like the Hustler or Penthouse Mansion in New Orleans?
I mean, there's like a Hustler strip club, I think, so probably. I don't know.
Well, so there's a strip club, but there's one that's like an actual like mansion.
Oh, okay.
And oftentimes the women would come out and just like flash the guys down below, but they'd be real bored about it. Like,
well, the funny thing was we hadn't seen any tits, and it was like Tuesday, Mardi Gras. It was like Mardi Gras, and we'd been there since Saturday, and I hadn't seen any boobs, and I was like, what the fuck, y'all?
It's family friendly now.
We just weren't going to the right parades. Honestly, we went to one parade in the very beginning, and it was fun, and we caught a lot of beads, but it was a family parade. And then I was kind of over it. I was kind of like, okay, well, I did the parade thing. And some of Sean's family wanted to go see like every parade. And I was like, but why?
Yeah, but why though?
I don't understand. I mean, fine, but I was like, I experienced it. It was cool. I don't really need to do it again. But it was just, I don't know how did I get here? I don't know. Brain fog.
Did you see any tits?
Oh no, yes. So that was the thing. It was once I realized, like, oh, I haven't seen any boobs. We specifically went down to Bourbon Street.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna see some fucking boobs, y'all. That is happening.
You gotta see them things.
I saw some good boobs. I saw some bad boobs. I saw some boobs that I'm not even sure were boobs.
Oh,
do you know what else I saw?
What did you see?
That was really fun, and I started a chant. Christian protesters.
Oh yes! What chant did you start?
Suck a dick. Suck a dick.
Were they chanting?
They just had their megaphones and were screaming things.
Repent, sinners! The day is nigh.
Yeah, it was like there were multiple groups of them, and like they weren't together because one of those groups was like attacking other like Christian sects. Like screaming about how Catholicism is the devil or something. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway.
That's amazing. I love Christian protesters.
So during the day, we stumbled on a big like convention of them doing it the quote unquote right way, I guess, or whatever.
Which is what, when they stay indoors and don't bother people?
Yeah. Basically.
Let's have a convention where we protest Mardi Gras. Yes, let us go to events inside the convention hall and see nary of the parades.
It was just a bunch of people at the end of like at a little area, and I think they were like singing Christian songs, and they were just being Christian-y, and they had some crosses, but they weren't like screaming things at people, and they didn't have signs that were like "You're going to hell" and like no more tits and stuff, and I don't know what the sign said. I don't bother to read them.
On high, Lord, I don't want to see boobies.
I mean, but they do. They're lying to themselves.
You know what would be fun is if we went to Mardi Gras as fake Christian protesters and made up songs to sing that were like parodies of actual hymns. Can we put this in like our goals or something? That if we make a certain amount of money.
Oh my God. If somebody wants to fund that trip next year, I would absolutely go 100%.
It would be so much fun.
Oh my God. Yep.
And we could pretend to be corrupted by the crowds and then be like, I'm seeing titties and I love it.
Oh, I just want to take off my clothes and
yeah.
Your cat is all up in your grill there.
He is. Oh, he's been very sweet.
Well, that's refreshing. He's not gnawing your flesh.
Not for once. Yeah, he's being a sweet little kitty. He does that sometimes.
That's nice. How refreshing.
It is.
So yeah, I don't know. Fucking Mardi Gras. It was great. Have you ever been to Mardi Gras?
I have not. So I've been to New Orleans twice, neither for Mardi Gras and both pre-Katrina. I have, however, the first time I was there was actually with my marching band, and this would have been in 1996. And we went to play at the Sugar Bowl. And it was very awesome and a lot of fun. And you can tell this was like pre-Columbine and pre-9/11 because we were literally just allowed to roam loose in the French Quarter for days in high school. Like there were certain areas we were not allowed to go into, but they had to catch you. And the worst thing that could happen would be that you get put in Holiday in jail for a few hours. Yeah. I look back on that and I'm like, wow, high school has changed a lot.
Yeah.
That was, we actually went to a party one night where a bunch of the floats for parades are stored. There are at least a couple of pictures of me putting my finger up the noses of...
that sounds normal.
15-year-old me.
Yeah, that tracks for sure. Yeah, it's really also, I was disappointed by the floats, actually.
Oh?
I don't know. I just haven't paid that much attention to Mardi Gras. Like, everybody knows vaguely what it is, and that's all I've ever known. And I don't know. I guess when I think of floats, I'm thinking of like Macy's Day Parade floats, or even like Rose Bowl floats, and they're huge and they're massive, and it's more about the float. And these were just like double-decker buses with something sort of elaborate on the front, and then just lines of people on both decks throwing shit. And I just was like, no, okay. There's also something vaguely weird and kind of KKK-ish about the face coverings that they all wear. And I was like, this just feels weird and bad to me. And maybe it's not, but it doesn't feel good. Well, it feels like it's at least adjacent to bad.
Oh, God, Munchkin, what have you been doing? God.
Own it. No, that is your fart now.
I guess I farted out of my mouth because it's like right here. God damn it. Why is it that they fart when they get relaxed and happy?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
He brought up his first ever hairball, and the thing is, it wasn't orange fur. It was black fur, which means I think he's been biting on Kitty so much when he chases her around that he had a hairball of her fur.
He might just be eating her fur off of the ground.
What?
My cats do this.
Jesus Christ.
We refer to it in our house as hoovering.
Okay.
They will start doing it when they're hungry. But also, I've watched both of my cats, if they come across hairballs, like not like coughed up hairballs, but like balls of hair on the floor that have shed off of them, they will fucking eat it.
Oh, well, and Kitty does shed a lot more than he does.
So I'm just saying, pay attention to what he does, and you might notice he's actually just eating hair that's fallen off of her. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but that's still a little disconcerting to...
It is. I'm like, that's not the right color at all.
Groom yourself, you bitch.
Although, I caught them snuggling one night. Well, and it wasn't much. They weren't like wrapped around each other or anything.
But they were touching.
So he managed to wiggle up behind her, and he had one paw kind of outstretched and his whole head resting on her back.
Oh, that's
and they were just sleeping there, and I'm like, oh, it happened! The snuggle! The snuggle is real!
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It has begun!
Yeah, we can only get our boys to even think about touching each other if in the wintertime. And we just, if it's cold, we can kind of
open the windows, make the cat snuggle.
Yeah, exactly.
Dance, monkey.
Force that. Fucking cats. Such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So, you know. Okay, so
did they have any bands though? Did you get to hear any cool music?
Of course. Well, when you say band, we heard lots of marching bands.
Yes, like
in the parades. And of course, the funny thing is you can always tell whether it's going to be a mostly black marching band when it's coming down the road before you can see them. You're like,
oh, well, yeah.
Oh, this sounds vaguely interesting. It must be mostly black people. And then there's like the boring ones coming and you're like, oh, this is a white school. You can skip it. No
one is stomping the yard.
There's just the first parade we went to was called Endymion, which is amusing because that's Tuxedo Mask's name.
Well, Endymion is
yes, I know.
Oh, okay. Mythologically speaking.
You can tell people.
Oh, so Endymion is a spirit loved by the goddess of the moon.
Hence Sailor Moon.
Yes, a beautiful mortal, if I'm not mistaken. And she put him to sleep permanently, like not in the way you put your pets to sleep, but like she made him sleep forever.
You don't know that.
Well, true. We don't know what happened after this. Maybe she got bored of him, but yeah, she put him into a state of perpetual sleep so that he would stay beautiful forever.
Okay, that's fair. Amusingly, we didn't even know the parades had names.
Yeah.
So
I know that I wonder if they're named by the places that they're at, because I know that places in New Orleans have names based on Greek mythology. I remember seeing a bus that goes to the Elysian Fields, and I'm like, the Elysian Fields? I need to get on that bus.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how they get named, but amusingly, the first time I saw them like marching down the road with these signs that said Endymion, I was like, that's a Sailor Moon character. And that was the only touch point I had at that point. So I was like, is this a Sailor Moon themed float? I don't understand what's happening. So that was fun. And actually I said that, and the person in front of me took pity on us at that point and turned around and was like, it's the name of the parade. And we were like, oh, we felt real dumb. Real dumb.
I mean, a Sailor Moon Mardi Gras parade would be pretty cool.
I would be so into it. Obviously.
Actually, speaking of Endymion and someone being loved by the goddess of the moon, so Diana, there's a version of Diana called Diana of Ephesus, who is well known for the sculptures of her that look like she's got like 100 titties.
That sounds hot.
It was probably like sacrificial offerings or like necklaces or something strewn about her, but the way sculptors have depicted it, it's like, damn, that bitch has all them titties just stacked all over the place. It's not visually appealing. In fact, it's rather disturbing and sets off my trypophobia. But I'm surprised there aren't any like Mardi Gras depictions of Diana of Ephesus, because that would be fucking perfect, wouldn't it? Like,
God, she would just be strewn with beads.
Just all the beads. Maybe we should start our own Mardi Gras parade with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah. I think this is a good plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Well, I mean, hey, but now you can say you've done Mardi Gras. So
yeah, for sure. It was certainly an experience.
Did you get to see any of the cemeteries?
I did.
Aren't they awesome?
Yeah, they were really cool. Yeah, we went to see a cemetery, and man, that shit's weird.
There's just open tombs with bones in them.
Yeah, it's very crazy, and the fact they're like still putting people in them, and I'm like, why though? After all the things that we know, okay, cool. Okay, cool, excellent. And what else did I went to like the City Park, which was really cool. They have really cool, huge like oak trees or some shit.
Did you go to the zoo? Or
no.
The aquarium?
No, everything's closed down for Mardi Gras.
Okay. Man, the aquarium is fucking amazeballs. I mean, if they rebuilt it after Katrina, that was like when all the exhibits broke open and there were just sharks swimming around the city.
Shit's bananas.
Those were like the fattest sharks I had ever seen in my life. Like, is there still like a Popeyes on every street corner in New Orleans?
I mean, there's definitely Popeyes, but I don't know if they were that prevalent.
When I was there, circa 2000, they were everywhere, and I'm like, they must be feeding the sharks with fucking Popeyes because those are some fat ass goddamn sharks, sort of waddling around the tank.
Yeah, we ate a lot of food. We ate a
lot of food. Did you eat beignets?
Yeah, of course. We went to Café du Monde.
Well, yeah, which is, you have to.
The place or whatever.
Right, you gotta go to Café du Monde. Did you at any point get drunk and yell "Les bon temps roules"?
No. I left that for you.
Bon temps.
I did get very sloshed on. Well, I had a beer and then I had a hand grenade.
Oh.
And those things are delicious and evil and perfect.
What exactly goes into them?
I don't know. A lot of alcohol and a lot of sugar and a lot of like lime flavoring, because that's all I could tell you is it was sweet and limey and I was into it. It was like $10 a pop, but like one of them got me right to that really good drunk point where I'm like drunk, but I'm not like so drunk.
Not like super sloppy.
Yeah. And then I just coasted there for a little while, and then it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And like we all did. It was like the entire party was just that perfect amount of day drunk.
Oh, that's so the best day drunk for Mardi Gras I ever had in Kansas City. A couple of friends of mine who were a couple, the husband worked in the downtown area, and so we were able to park his car in the garage for where he worked and then walk down to the parade and they brought a ton of stuff to make Irish car bombs.
Oh, fuck.
So we just sat in the garage for a while and got bombed out of our gourds and then went down to watch the parade and laugh at people we knew from the Renaissance Festival who were in the parade.
Yes, of course. Oh, that's amazing.
That was a great time.
That sounds pretty great.
Because that is the way to do it when you don't have to go very far, like, to get wasted and then get to the parade. Like,
Josh just put a hand grenade recipe in the chat, but that sounds like way too much alcohol and not enough sweet for you to. Because I literally, like, we took just sips of these and we were like, "There's no alcohol in this."
Huh.
Like this is dangerous, but the recipe he put is like largely alcohol. There's no way you would not taste that alcohol. I don't know. Sounds weird.
Tom says Popeye, Starbucks, Cemetery. Yeah, that's kind of what I remember.
Oh my gosh.
The cemeteries are actually like a big part of why, to me, I always thought the Anne Rice kind of stories felt real, whereas like a lot of urban fantasy writers are like, so imagine like all these were creatures and vampires in St. Louis.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, it's not. New Orleans is older by far than the United States as a country and has all these cool, it's a very European city. Or at least it was for a long time, and it has all these cool ass cemeteries and shit. I'm like, St. Louis, that ain't it, chief. like the Anita Blake bullshit and whatnot.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go like way like into the ironic territory where it's set in the Minneapolis St. Paul area, and instead of like sexy were creatures, there's like a were goose, and like all the vampires are fat, like they have beer guts.
No.
And have Minnesota accents. That would be pretty great.
Okay, I could maybe get behind any kind of vampire with a Minnesotan accent.
But yeah, when people are like, no, it's actually sexy vampires and werewolves in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I'm like, no. That's a pretty unsexy area of the country. Because Prince, who came from there, like Milwaukee, I forget specifically where he's from, but like he sucked up all the sexiness and took it for himself, and then, and that was that.
And now they're fucked.
Yep.
It was like their #1 import, and now he's dead, and it's just gone.
He's gone back to whatever planet Eldritch Magnificence birthed him.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy. So, I don't know. Rissy, what have you been up to?
Oh, many things.
Like such as?
Like, so I've been doing a lot of wedding prep stuff, immigration paper filing stuff, but that's all boring.
Well, I mean, yes and no, but go on.
So, there have been some fun things. So I've been rereading some old books. Back in the late 1970s, a group of fantasy writers got together, and they were talking about how it kind of like, it would be really neat if they all had like a fantasy world to play in together, like a sandbox. Sure. And you could all have, your characters, and everybody could, everybody's characters could interact and whatnot. And so, 3 people, a guy named Robert Lynn Aspirin, who's dead, and Gordon R. Dixon, who is dead, and Lynn Abbey, who is not dead, basically came up with this idea of like, what if there's like a cool like fantasy city, and it's real like grim and gritty, and like that's the setting. And the first book is called Thieves World, and it's like it is like a literal shared world short story anthology series. And John has all of them. I'd only read a couple of them. I think there were eventually like 12 different anthologies that were published. And so like all these like sometimes really big names in fantasy would contribute a story or maybe several stories, and it's all usually focused on like 1 or 2 characters that they've created. And there's also rules for like you can't kill off anybody else's character, but you can put other people's characters in your stories. That kind of thing. But like major changes have to be approved by the original author of the character. And so what I was kind of doing, I was like, when did somebody say fuck for the first time in a fantasy story?
Great question, honestly.
Well, and the thing is, it's like in literature, right? People have been saying fuck in books for quite a while, but sure. Fantasy is a conservative genre, right? In fact, like actual sex happening in fantasy stories, it was pretty late in happening. Like, again, compared to just regular, literature. And I was like, because I've been trying to figure out, like, what is it about George R. R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire series that just really made it, hit the fantasy world with the impact that it did. And I am now convinced that it really is because his characters say fuck and actually fuck. Because for the most part in fantasy, especially like epic fantasy, nobody swears. Not real swears. You have shitty made up ones, like in the Wheel of Time books, people say blood and ashes, and then someone's like, oh, right. That's a naughty swear that you've done.
Right. And everybody goes, right.
Yeah, and I hate that stupid bullshit. And as part of another kind of research project that I've been working on, I was looking at a pretty famous book, 9 Princes in Amber, which was published in 1970. And it actually has like what's clearly meant to be one character saying fuck you, and it's just dashes.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Way to lean in, guys.
So I'm like, holy shit, even in this book, which has a lot of depictions of like, violence and a little bit of sex, but nothing particularly graphic. I'm like, wow, they had to bleep out books back in the day. And you really don't see people starting to swear in fantasy. Science fiction's a little bit different because Kurt Vonnegut in the 1970s did publish a story called like The Big Space Fuck. It was a short story. Yeah.
Okay.
Or something along those lines. But like, I found one story in one of the Thieves World books that would have been published in 1981 where someone uses the word fucking to refer to sex. But that's the only instance of the word in the entire Thieves World collection. And it's pretty, like, dark for fantasy, especially in the 1980s, which is when that kind of change starts happening. And A Game of Thrones was published in
1986. 96,
right? And
86.
I really do think that, like, this is why it's okay to swear when you write fantasy now. That there were obviously some instances of swearing, but not that many. It's just crazy to me to think about, like, oh no, I better not do a swear in the fantasy story.
It's so strange to me.
It really is very weird. Very fucking weird, but, you know, what are you gonna do?
Not a lot. Keep reading it and laughing at it.
Zachary Drake says, in fantasy, everyone has the sexuality of a 10-year-old. Brandon Sanderson still does. Hey-oh!
So weird.
Yeah, but so I've been reading a lot of, like, old, like, 40-year-old fantasy. Some of it holds up really well, and the concept is still really cool. Like, this shared fantasy world, which has, like, there's some basic world building that was done, but then everybody makes their own contributions, and those build on top of each other.
Well, I was not aware until very recently, and by very recently, I mean, like, days ago, that, like, the Drizzt books and stuff are all, like, D&D.
Yeah, it's all tie-in fiction.
I had no idea. I thought it was just another, like, fantasy world building author. Did not know that it was, like, kind of contracted by them and they couldn't like kill off their own characters. And they were like, I had no idea. Sean started talking about it and I was like, what are you saying? And he was like, you don't know how this works? And I was like, I guess not. And he had to like sit me down and educate me because I was like, because he was like saying words and I was like, that doesn't, what do you mean? Why would that be? And it was surprise.
Oh, yeah, although to be fair, the Drizzt books are kind of a world unto themselves at this point. But yeah, the very first TSR Dungeons & Dragons tie-in novel was published in 1984, and its name, of course, was Dragons of the Autumn Twilight.
Of course, like who doesn't know that? Am I right, guys?
Well, I mean, so the thing is, it's part of the first Dragonlance Chronicles, which is a trilogy, and it is terrible. It is so bad. It is the fucking worst. But the second book is not a good book, but if you read it as a teenager, it has enough kind of good points to where it like gets you right in the fucking feels.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So yeah, 1984 sees the beginning of D&D tie-in fiction. Star Wars tie-in fiction starts in the 90s with Thrawn, Heir to the Empire, is the first of those books. And of course, Mara Jade is introduced in those as well.
The best.
The best. So yeah, the 80s and the 90s was a big time of change for popular fantasy. But yeah, so that was like a fun thing. Some of these stories though, so like any anthology is going to be hit or miss. But there's this one author, and the problem is that she kind of took over the Thieves World books with like the stories she wrote. She created this character named Tempest, and he starts off as being okay, and I thought, I was like, John was complaining, he's like, oh god, Tempest ruins everything, and I'm like, why? I thought Tempest was really cool, and I listed 2 stories. He's like, you realize, right, that those 2 stories weren't actually written by the woman who created him, and he's only, like, kind of coming in as an accessory character. I'm like, wait, those stories weren't by Janet Morris? He was like, no, and I'm like, oh, because these stories are really liked. So I went back and read all the stories that Janet Morris actually wrote, and oh my god! So imagine like the worst Mary Sue type character.
Yes, I love it already.
Like, Tempest is an ancient Greek philosopher king who is also like a living avatar of the primordial storm god, who is many different storm gods, but even if the storm god that he's directly serving is killed, well, he actually works for the super boss storm god, so it doesn't affect his divine powers at all. And he is 6.5 feet tall and super hot with honey-colored hair. And he can't die. He will heal. He basically like has Wolverine's healing factor. And he also, as part of his curse, he basically, anybody who loves him will die, and he can't really he can't take a woman in gentleness, so one of his hobbies is literally raping people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, sometimes Tempest had gone out raping the other night. That's a line in one of the books, in one of the stories that Janet Morris wrote.
Oh no.
Yeah, and like, so, but he's tortured because he can never truly love, except then you find out back in his old, he's also from another dimension. It just gets more and more Mary Sue as it goes along. I'm like, wait, what? and he's such a fucking badass. He literally fists someone to death in
like in a sexy way or in a not sexy way?
In a sexual way.
But are we talking like he was trying to kill them?
Yes.
And okay. It wasn't like a fun, sexy time thing gone wrong.
No,
but when you accidentally like asphyxiate yourself and die while you're.
He was doing it sexually, but not to be fun for the other person.
Okay, got it. Right. Yeah.
He's obsessed with horses and training horses, and so that always makes like his fucking horses always show up in his stories, and we have to hear about shit from the horse. Yeah, they're horse dicks. That does come into it, actually. And then also, there's just paragraph on paragraph on paragraph of him thinking smart philosopher thoughts, which actually aren't very smart at all. And
shocking.
Just fucking incomprehensible word salad. And then it turns out he also started like a mercenary company that's based on a very... a super fictionalized version of the Sacred Band of Thebes, which is a group of elite Greek fighters that operated in pairs, and usually they were male lovers, so each would guard the other one. And so this is Tempest's mercenary company, the Sacred Band of Stepsons, and they all
got real gross real fast.
Yeah, and not all of them are banging each other, but like the first leader of the Sacred Band of Stepsons is this young dude who's super in love with Tempest and just shows up in Sanctuary, which is the Thieves World city. And he's like, Tempest, one night for you would pay for everything that I might have to go through. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die in this story, he does. But please, can we do it, please? Also, I'm a priest and a badass and like 20 years old, but also a eunuch. And your adoptee. They don't have sex though. But it's basically like Tempest would have been an okay character in the hands of a different author, because again, when he's being written by other authors, he actually doesn't suck, but he's like Spike in the Gremlins movie. So he started out okay, but then somebody fed him after midnight. And then he becomes like super god Tempest, and then got him wet. So now you have all these other little fucking gremlins, which are his stepsons, and they keep showing up in the stories, and they make everything terrible. And one of them is like some kind of weeaboo ninja / samurai who has mind powers. And keep in mind, this was like 1982, so I guess weeaboos weren't really a thing yet. But yeah, and I was like, wow, this is awful. It took me like 2 hours to read one short story because it was so bad. It was almost incomprehensible. And this bitch is still alive, by the way. Janet Morris is writing. She wrote novels about them too, like spin-off novels.
Did we establish why you're doing this to yourself?
Well, because at that point, like, I was, looking for instances of the word fuck, and then I was like, oh, I remember
this. Like your own personal research paper for no purpose, really? You're just curious?
Yes.
You just want to be able to post in some subreddits about all the research you've done to prove that there's
Maybe.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Maybe, yes.
All right, I'm asking for a friend.
BRB asking for friend. And and so I would read like one of the stories and I'm like, oh, I like this story so much. And then I'd get, caught up in reading it. And then the next one would be a Janet Morris story. And then I'd be like, maybe it isn't that bad. it was that bad. I still can't believe that, like, she's got, like, a ninja samurai dude who has, like, throwing stars and a katana, a magical katana. It's so shitty and stupid.
It sounds delightful.
And there's just, like, endless amounts of rape. Like, all the stepsons are also really into just raping everyone. And I'm like, how is anybody supposed to like this character? Right? It's very, like, proto-grimdark. I'm like, George R.R. Martin would turn up his nose at this in terms of how much fucking rape is going on. I get, like, at their guard barracks, I guess they just need to put up a sign that says, like, gone raping.
Gone raping. That's probably not the title of this episode, but I wish it could be.
Gone raping. Why can't it be?
I think you can answer that question on your own, and if you can't, you're lying.
Yeah, no, I know. Actually, who is it in the chat? Josh Donovan actually mentions one of the good stories. So he, two of the elite city guards, which Tempest is, of course, part of the elite city guards, but he also gets to sass the prince because he's special. He gets to tell the prince that he's an idiot. He also gets to tell his own god that he's an idiot. But two of the other city guards, like, they're like, fuck this dude. So they knock him out and they give him to a dude who's a vivisectionist.
That sounds so hot.
Right. Well, it means you dissect people while they're alive.
That sounds so hot.
But the thing is, because Tempest can't die, this dude can just dissect him and dissect him and dissect him over and over again and has him chained down. And you get to see Tempest being, like, weak and scared and pathetic. And he has to be rescued by other people. And of course, this was not written by Janet Morris and is one of the really good stories with Tempest in it. Because his superpower is actually a horrifying disability here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yep. Oh, Josh is using his veto power.
I know. Yeah, he just declared that he has veto powers on us. And you know what? I support that.
Yeah,
sometimes
we need to be saved from ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually pretty good at saving us from ourselves, but every once in a while, I need a Josh to step in.
Maybe we should start having secret titles for episodes, like the hidden track on the CD.
Oh God, no!
This episode, Blythe's New Orleans Adventures, gone raping.
God damn it, Rissy. Also, Josh is now employing Amanda's safe word since she's not here. Stop being racist.
We're not being racist.
It's her safe word. It's not about racism always.
That's true. We're being racist.
Yeah, we are being racist.
Stop being racist. Oh no.
I'm sorry. Oh, this is what happens when Amanda's not here.
Right, Raina.
Oh.
So another thing I've been doing is watching subculture drama. Speaking of terrible fiction, do you know about the Omegaverse? I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on the podcast before.
It doesn't mean that I retained any of it.
So in 2010, a bunch of fanfic writers on LiveJournal turned their attentions to Supernatural, the TV show.
Yeah, girl.
And there's a lot of people who write wincest stories about the two male leads who are brothers having sex with each other. And then
Jensen Ackles was the king of one of the parades in Mardi Gras.
Oh, wait, what? Holy shit.
True. That's
this
true.
Is,
I didn't see him. I wasn't at that one.
Get ready for some fun stuff.
Okay,
so Jensen
Ackles
and the other guy, actor.
It doesn't matter. Jensen Ackles and the other guy is what they're called.
And the other guy. So people actually write fan fiction stories about the two of them as real people fucking each other. And then at some point in like the summer of 2010, there was an overlap between Supernatural fandom and people who write werewolf sex stories. And this resulted in stories about the dudes from Supernatural, and one is an alpha male and the other is the bitch male, which later became the omega male, and alpha males have dog dicks. Meaning they like swell up and you can't...
And they get stuck in you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you do that butt-to-butt thing.
Yeah.
And then you're just stuck there.
Yep.
Gross.
Yeah, so and that's the whole defining point of alpha males is they have a special dog dick. And this is like actually like written in the story, like and knotting, and that's the thing. And also omega males can be impregnated.
What?
Yeah.
So they have giant schlongers that'll get stuck in you, but they can also...
No, that's alpha males have the giant dog dicks.
Oh,
Omega males, like, they might have dicks, but they're, like, shriveled up. I know, it's awful.
So confused. Okay.
And so this grew into this horrible fucking thing that spread out from the supernatural fandom into and became what's called the Omegaverse, which is generally defined by alphas and omegas and dog dicks.
No.
It's really prevalent in like Sherlock Holmes fandom, that like Sherlock and Watson, like Sherlock is the alpha, and that was how I encountered it. I didn't actually know that it started as a supernatural thing. And keep in mind, this is Jensen Ackles people are writing about, not his character, but Jensen Ackles as if with a dog dick.
No.
Yeah.
No. I feel bad. No.
I do too. That's like, everybody's like, you can't shame me for my kink. And I'm like, when it comes to actual human beings who are real people, and you're writing this obviously without their consent, I actually do think that should be shamed, because that really isn't okay. Like, because as far as I know,
look back on this hundreds of years from now and just think it's true.
That they were werewolves. And
yeah, and poor Jensen Ackles' name is forever, like, there are statues made of him with a giant fucking dog dick.
Right.
And no one will ever know
that
it wasn't even true.
Poor Jensen Ackles.
This is the worst day of my life. Why did you tell me about this?
It's gonna get better, though, because now... Yeah. Oh, yeah. So... eventually there were like heterosexual versions of alphas, so there's like alpha males and omega females, who I guess just the omega's partners go into heat. That's right, unlike regular females or other males. So omega males and omega females go into heat. With omega males, their buttholes start naturally lubricating. And they, like, you can take drugs like birth control, basically, to, like, suppress your heat. But what if you forgot? What if the other supernatural actor dude forgot his special pills and went into heat around alpha male Jensen Ackles? Uh-oh.
What? What are you saying?
I'm really sorry. I thought I had talked about the Omegaverse before. It sucks to have to be somebody's introduction to the Omegaverse, and it's a thing that I mean, sorry, not sorry, it's in your brain now. But all of this has recently come to a head.
If you will, and I will not.
But I'll write some fan fiction where you actually will.
Oh, God damn it. I can't stop you.
A woman who writes Omegaverse, heterosexual Omegaverse stories is trying to raise enough money to sue another woman because she's accusing her of plagiarism.
Oh, no.
Plagiarizing her werewolf dog dick supernatural Omegaverse fiction. And the woman who's doing the lawsuit is obviously like a very young millennial or Gen Zer, because her name is Addison Kane.
I can't wait to hear how this turns out, honestly.
And so now there's like a court filing that Jensen Ackles, about dog dicks, and Jensen Ackles' name is in it. And,
oh my God. Do you think he's going to have to show up?
Oh, that... God, I can't even fucking imagine.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's poor Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, I feel really bad. I feel really bad for all of them.
Yeah. That's one of those kind of kinks that's like, wait, what? Like, how are you okay with this? Because you're literally writing about real people. And the other woman in this instance has created a website of her own called Omegaverselitigation.com.
Oh my God.
I still can't believe this is a real thing myself, but here we are. It's 2019.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Basically, this person is claiming, well, you know, nobody properly owns the rights to the Omegaverse because it began as fan fiction and involving other people's intellectual property. So, and the thing is that who the other woman in question is definitely not one of the people that created the initial gay version of the Omegaverse, but I guess Addison Kane is trying to claim that she created the Omegaverse for heterosexual people.
Hey, Rissy, have you ever thought about taking some of the time and energy that you spend in this garbage and putting it towards something, I don't know, useful?
Then I would not be who I am.
Well, we don't want that, but Jesus, can't we even shave off a little bit of it?
I think about that a lot.
Harness
but
your power?
I maybe if I start upping my Concerta dose of my stimulant meds, it might help. I don't know.
Oh my God. The amount of information that you have at your disposal right now about this horrible thing.
This horrible, horrible thing.
This horrible, horrible thing. You could do so much with that power if you'd put it towards good and not this evil.
Not evil? I don't know if I can use my powers for good, Blythe.
God. Oh my God. It's awful. Well, thank you, and also fuck you for bringing this to our attention. I say on behalf of literally everyone listening.
There have been a lot of people on Twitter since all this shit about the lawsuit and whatnot just happened. A lot of people are like, well, now I know about the Omegaverse. Fuck you all!
Yeah,
I'd like to go back to the time before I knew about that.
Yeah, that's not fun. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
People have written like, here's a primer for the Omegaverse and like some tips on world building. I'm like, if you're gonna have a world full of dog dicks and men who can get pregnant, well, here's how to make it more realistic.
Oh my God. I hope someone will create like the Bible for it. Not like the real Bible, but like a Bible of the world. Do you know what I mean? The rules and regulations.
Why not the Bible only made Omegaverse? That'd be great. Actually, I would read that.
Rissy, I feel like you should write that.
The Omegaverse Bible. No, the actual Bible. Also titled Gone Rapin'.
Guys, we do not condone rape. I just want to be very clear. Like 100% against. Do not go raping.
Do not. Although if you do, definitely don't say we put you up to it, okay?
100% no. It's not okay. It's not okay. Consent is important.
Yes. Consent is mandatory. Don't go raping. Maybe we should make that into some bumper stickers.
Raping waterfalls. Please stick through the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Sorry. I'm really sorry. God.
You're not sorry at all.
Part of me is. Oh my God, you guys. What? This is what happens. This is Amanda's fault. Everyone blame her.
Yes, this is.
Oh, Jeeves Creebus. Hey, Rissy.
Yes.
Oh God, I really hesitate to ask based on the content of this conversation so far, but I have no choice. So I just want you all to know I don't have a choice here. I'm sorry. So whatever happens, it's not my fault. Do you have a Dork Pride Chat for this week?
Oh my, I do.
Oh God, I'm scared.
So if you had to pick a fictional, because I do not condone taking real people and writing them into the Omegaverse.
Yeah, it's not okay, guys. That's also okay. Should be a consensual thing. Fucking stop it. It's weird.
But because of course both of these actors are like heterosexual and married, I think. So
yeah, probably.
Can you imagine their wives reading this?
Oh my God.
But take a fictional couple and Omegaverse them. Who do you pick, and who's the alpha, and who's the omega, and do they have babbies? Are babbies formed?
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Well, you have to go first, because I got to think about this.
Okay. I'm going to pick Legolas and Gimli.
Oh, gross.
And Legolas is actually the alpha. I know a lot of people would assume that because Gimli is so rough and tumble, that he'd be the alpha, but no, Gimli is secretly the Omega, and they definitely have babbies. Babbies are formed. Legolas, I'm in heat!
Oh my god.
Oh, I said those words. Oh, wow. Have those words ever been said before? In that order?
It's gross.
It is gross.
I don't consent to any of this.
Too late.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. My brain is so caught up on dog dicks right now.
Well, sure.
That's a quote for you. That I can't.
My brain is so caught up on dog dicks right now.
I can't even think of character too. Like, I can't even think of two characters right now. I can't even think of a goddamn universe right now. All I can fucking think about is Jensen Ackles with a dog dick.
Oh, and also, so like there are alpha and omega females as well. It's just they almost never get written about.
Oh, yeah, sure. Of course. That's less sexy for some reason. I don't understand you people.
It's really weird how many women are like women write fan fiction, but only about gay men. It's strange to me. But we're getting some good ones in the chat. Fred and Barney, Hermione and Luna. That's from Zach.
Okay, I'm
Cyclops and Wolverine. That's JD. Cyclops is the alpha, and Wolverine is the bratty omega. Oh God, Mason, Max Headroom, and RoboCop. Oh my God, Nynaeve, Almira, and Lan from the Wheel of Time. Nynaeve would be the alpha. Yeah, she would be. Rum Tum, Tugger, and McCavity.
Oh no!
Ass kitties.
No.
Thanks, Tom. Ass kitties.
Oh my God.
So I guess they could be werecats, which means their dicks would also be barbed.
That sounds horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But would they still do the like stuck thing?
I mean, why not? Why not? Oh no. Well, if I have to be in hell, at least now you're all in here with me.
Oh my God. Does it have to be same-sex couples?
No. They can be heterosexual.
Okay. Janeway and Chakotay.
Who's the alpha though?
Janeway's obviously the alpha.
I mean, that was what I had assumed.
Yeah, obviously Janeway's the alpha.
Well, I was prepared for you to make your case, like, you know.
No, there's no case to be made here. It's obvious.
100%. You are so right. Janeway is definitely the alpha who impregnates Chakotay in his butt.
Also, I'm on season 3. Can you tell?
Yeah, just voyaging. Have the salamanders happened yet?
No.
They will.
No, I was real sick for a long time, and I was like, hey, what's up, Voyager? Let's do this.
We'll say Voyager has some good Q episodes.
No such thing.
What?
I don't like Q. We all know this.
Well, then how come you didn't love Cisco for punching him?
I did. In fact, I think we talked about it on the podcast.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
It might have been before you were on it regularly, actually.
Oh God, Drist and Raistlin, Valjean and Javert, Worf and Riker. Oh, you guys are fucking killing me.
Oh, Worf and Riker, get out of here! How dare you?
Darth Vader and Chewbacca. This is what 7 of 9 and Janeway. Yes. Yeah. This is one of the best chats I've ever seen.
Oh God. Eevee and Pikachu.
Oh wow. So who's?
I think Eevee would be the alpha.
Actually, that was where I was going too. Yeah, like you know.
Oh my
Pikachu
God,
is...
Dr. Crusher and Troy.
Oh, whoa. Okay, that's a tough one though for who the alpha is.
Oh, that's a yeah. Oh,
that is a real Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton. Oh. I wouldn't be surprised if that already existed as fan fiction somewhere, thanks to the Hamilton fandom.
Oh my God. Oh, this is horrifying.
Isn't it just?
I just want everyone to know how absolutely horrified I am by this whole fucking podcast.
I think it was JD who suggested maybe the title could be "Do Not Go Raping."
Oh, you guys, what have you done? Oh no. Okay, well, that is gonna do it for this episode of the Dork Pridecast. I wish I had my show notes up, but Jesus Christ, I have to fucking slam these brakes while I can. I have notes somewhere. Thank you to Sarah Donner for allowing us to use music off of her album Black Hole Heart, even though we are filthy whores who make jokes about gone raping, and it is not appropriate. And
It
we're
is
really
not
sorry.
appropriate.
She's a better person than we are, and she's making a new album right now, and it's gonna be good, and I'm excited.
She thinks about Dungeons and Dragons.
That's true. There's going to be some cool shit there. I'm really stoked about it. You can find the Damsels of Dorkington on Twitter and Facebook. You guys fucking know where you can find us. You can also rate and review our podcast. That's really helpful to us. And it's a thing you can do that helps us, that costs you $0. Just a little bit of time.
But if you do want to contribute in the form of dollars, please check out our Patreon at Patreon. Oh God, I'm having a really horrible muscle cramp right now.
Oh no.
I've been working out too hard, and I think I fucked up my leg. My leg hurts. Leg hurts. Oh God, what is happening? Okay, I can fully extend my leg. Okay.
Still going with Alpha and Omega. It just keeps going.
It's all really good too. Crying. May God have mercy on our soul.
He won't. He or she will not. Absolutely will not. We'll show up and we'll be like, we're so sorry. And they'll be so like, gone raping and juice out.
If you want to be damned for all eternity, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Damsels of Dorkington, where you can get access to rewards that are only available there. Who doesn't want more things from us? Like a fuck ton of bonus content and being on the list of super awesome patrons that we thank at the end of the podcast, like these people. How we can't Alpha and Omegaverse though our patrons because they haven't consented to it, so that's off the table.
I feel like if you become our patron, you're consenting to literally everything.
Are we gonna write that into the Patreon thing where if by clicking this link I acknowledge that I forfeit my right to not be Omegaversed?
Surprise, it's already in there.
Is that what we're doing for the chat tonight?
Yeah, it sure is.
Okay, all right. So are we pairing people with each other, or are we pairing them with fictional people?
Whatever we want.
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna say John Haidt and the Gingerbread Man from Shrek.
Yes, of course.
And the Gingerbread Man is the alpha.
I would like to thank Travis and Wendy Mays, who are obviously their own alpha and omega. And they actually have this beautiful deal worked out where they trade.
Oh, wow. So they have like shapeshifter dicks. Like,
yeah, so they can like pass the dog dick back and forth.
That's so hot.
Yeah, it's super hot.
Is it legal for us to say this about Aaron Felsen?
Ooh, no. I think he's 18 now. I don't fucking care.
Okay, so Aaron Felsen and who's appropriate for someone that young? Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't wish that off on anyone, but fine.
No, you're right. I'm not going to do that. No. Aaron Felsen and let's see. What's something pure and good? And Galadriel. I'm sorry, but Galadriel is the alpha, though.
That's fair. No, that's smart. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would also like to thank Mary Henderson and, of course, Joshua Griffiths. But surprise, Mary's the alpha, bitches.
Did that actually surprise anyone?
No. That was the joke. Thanks for explaining it. It's funnier now.
That's what I do. I'm the alpha of joke explaining. So definitely, I would like to thank Sean Palmer and Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Oh, no.
Who has a big red dick.
Oh, no. It's even bigger and redder and more uncut.
Yes. God.
Okay. I would like to thank Richard Hirsch, and he is the alpha, and the Omni Hotel franchise is his Omega. Because he always gets a good deal there. I don't know what the deal is.
He's impregnated the Omni Hotel.
Yep. Yes.
Babby was formed. I would like to thank John Latch. And I'm going to make John Latch the alpha in a relationship with Tempest from the Thieves World series. Because everybody thinks that Tempest would be the alpha. But no, it turns out he has to have John Latch's babies when he goes into heat.
He forms those babbies?
Babbies are formed. That's how much we love you, John Latch.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We gave you complete sexual control over Tempest.
Well, I would like to thank JD DeMott, who is actually, sorry, JD, you're the Omega, and your alpha is actually this episode of the podcast, which you're trying to burn to the ground in the chat, and I will not allow it.
And last but not least, we come to John Kozlowski.
So excited about this one.
I mean, there's the obvious answer.
Yeah, duh. That's no fun.
And yeah, who wants to be obvious? I'm just trying to think of who would I pair John up with in terms of fictional characters. Oh, I know. John Kozlowski and Sam Vimes from Terry Pratchett's Discworld novels. And I would say actually John is definitely the alpha.
Boom! You got Omegaverse, bitches! We would also like to thank Irv Walter, Daniel Neruda, Melody Glatzel-Smith, Wayne Walls, Jason Sanchez, William Priest, Joseph Harris, Darren Wilson, Ryan De La Rosa, Jodor Mayville, Frank Saris, the Sensual Menus Podcast, and Luis Roman. Thank you for joining us, everyone. This has been episode 108 of the Dork Pridecast. We will see you in 2 weeks, unless you're a patron, in which case we will be making up the Drunk Pridecast next week.
Deuces!
Jetpack, bitches!